Hi there, welcome back or welcome for the first time. This is Dr. Joe with Mountain Journey. Please subscribe, like, and comment if there's anything we can do to make things better. Let's restore a Stanley Lever Cap or Lever Cap. This is from a Stanley No. 5 plane that I found in the back of one of my pole barns that I was cleaning out after I purchased my mountain property. It was half buried in the dirt and it was really in terrible shape. So we're going to do a full restoration of the plane video as well, but also focus on the lever cap and the things to do. This is a lever cap from a Stanley Bailey No. 3. You can see it's lost its paint, and it's very dull appearing. The lever cap we can take out, we can restore it to its new condition. Carefully sanding, polishing, removing all the rust, making the face surface perfectly smooth. We're going to do some nickel electroplating to restore that nickel surface, and then carefully paint the background, which was for many planes orange. And so that's going to be the restoration of the lever cap on a Stanley No. 5 plane. I can't resist. I've seen some restoration videos where the restorer actually took a file to create this line. I mean, all that is where the lever cap strikes the body of the, this small lever strikes the body of the lever cap, creating that indentation. It's not a desirable addition. It's what occurs when the thing basically wears in and you're working with it. So it's not the way it came originally, but it occurs and it creates that little crease or that little indentation where this lever strikes the body of the lever cap. So the first thing is, let's take off this lever cap, which is full of debris. Okay, I'm going to put some leather gloves on just to protect my hands from this. Put a little light on it. I've got my safety glasses on. And we'll start our process. I mean, look at that already. Nice. We might have to get some more orange paint and paint around that Stanley lettering. Yeah, maybe 20 years in the dirt. Probably wasn't the best for it, but I think we can bring it back. This lever cap is looking good. It's nice that the plane was intact, you know. Trying to put things together and finding parts for these old hand planes and other hand tools is really problematic. When I get something at a meet or some other area that I'm really trying to look at, I want to be sure that, I try to be sure that they're all intact and have all the parts, because finding replacement parts is, it can happen, but it's not easy. It's always better to get an old tool that's complete. Look how much nicer that looks already. It's just fantastic. And you can see why I use leather gloves, not nitrile gloves. I don't want to get my fingers ground off with this wire brush. Coming. So we'll continue. Okay, now we're up to the lever cap or the lever cap. You can see I have been wire brushing this. This side is nice. This is nickel plated, but this side has lost a lot of its luster. It's rusted, and there's a lot of loss of the nickel plating. I'm going to replate this using electroplating methods, but before that I think I'm going to take this to the sander and just take this surface off. The sides and the back are quite nice. So we'll just take this down to bare metal, have it very polished, devoid of grease. We'll clean that with acetone, and we'll do some nickel electroplating to give us a nice finish on this lever cap. Okay, when you do things like sand this, there's no turning back, but I want this to look as good as possible. So we're going to sand the lever cap, bare metal, and then we're going to nickel plate it. So let's take it to the sander. And it's coming off really fast, as I thought it would. That's all bare metal now. Now let's go up here a little bit. Pretty close. This is all bare metal now to here. Now we're going to do this part. We got it all the way up to here. Now just a little bit here. There it is. So that's very nice. We'll just do this front edge just a little bit. Nice. So we're ready to go. The sides are still intact, and so is the back. Sides and back are still intact. And this is now nice. We'll improve this by polishing it a little bit and making it really, really nice and smooth. Okay, we're just going to lightly sand this with some 600 grit. I've got the dust collector on. It's very loud. We're going to cover it with a slight coating of oil to prevent surface rust. Okay, we're going to be doing some nickel plating, some electroplating. And what I want to plate is the lever cap. So you recall this lever cap had been rusted and corroded, and I took all of the nickel plating off of it, sanded it, and I'm going to sand it even a little bit more finely, and I'm going to plate this. The nickel plating on the back is okay. I'm going to plate the entire front in just a little bit and really restore this to its original condition. So to do nickel plating, we need a couple things. We need a container. We need a solvent, a solution. This distilled vinegar works very well. We need to add some salt to it, which will increase its conductivity. We need a DC power source, and this one has multiple voltages. And then we need some nickel. This is nickel plate that I purchased from Amazon, and we're going to be basically creating a fluid in here in which nickel plating can take place. We're going to deliver into the solution of vinegar and salt a large number of nickel molecules that will turn this solution color green. And then we can use those molecules dissolved in the solution to directly plate via an electrical charge the lever cap to restore it to its original luster. We're going to electroplate the lever cap because all of the nickel on the surface is gone. It's still present on the back and on the sides, but it had been rusted, so I sanded it all off, and now we're going to do some nickel electroplating to make this truly authentic. So to electroplate, we need some nickel, and I purchased a bar of nickel and I cut it in half, and then I took some copper wire and coiled it on the end and connected it to these alligator clips. These are connected to the positive and negative DC current that comes from this battery charger. So this is filled with Heinz distilled white vinegar. Doesn't have to be Heinz, but this will serve as a solution in which the nickel atoms will be deposited into the solution, and then we can charge the lever cap negatively so it serves as an anode, and all of the nickel ions, nickel elements, atoms that we put into the solution are going to go and stick to it and create a nice uniform surface. So let's put our electrodes in. Here's the anode, the negative, and here's the cathode, the positive. We've got that correct, and now we're going to plug it in, and we should see a lot of bubbling coming from here. Let's zoom in a little bit. We should see some bubbling coming from here when we plug this in. Alright, so bubbles are forming now on the electrode. Let's zoom in and take a closer look. Let's look down in there. See the bubbles forming on that nickel plate? And now they're rising to the surface, and this is creating that nice nickel electrolyte that we'll use to do nickel plating. You can see the bubbles coming right here, all on the anode, and they're all coming from the cathode. The bubbles you're seeing are actually hydrogen gas, but the amount is not that significant, and it's getting whisked away, so there's really no fire danger. We'll leave this until we create a nice green solution that is our desired electrolyte. Now we can add some salt, which will speed up the process. And we'll stir that a little bit, and you'll be able to instantly see the increased bubble activity on the anode. Take a look at the bubble activity now that I stirred it up. It's really really producing. So we'll leave this for 6, 8, 10 hours, something like that, until we get that nice green solution. So I've been sanding the lever cap now from 240 to 320 to 400 and now to 600. This is 600 grit. Getting very shiny, very polished. Pretty good. Let's take a look at the electroplating now. Look at the nice green color that's forming. It's fantastic. And those fantastic bubbles, it's really reacting strongly. You can see the bubbles just pouring off of the anode hydrogen gas, and all of the green color signifying that this is going to be a nickel electrolyte solution. We'll keep it running, but this has been great. So we've made this beautiful electrolyte solution with nickel. Let's take a look at it. And you can see it's been bubbling away. And I think we're about ready to do some nickel plating to get this on the beautiful, finely polished, sanded and polished lever cap. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is clean this again with some acetone. Be sure there's no grease on it that would prevent plating. Remember, it's only the front face that we're going to plate because the nickeling on the side is good. It was tarnished, rusted, and really not in very good shape at all on this face. Okay, so we're going to connect the negative lead to the wire we've got holding this up, and we're going to plug in our transformer. And here we go. We'll start to electroplate this. And the bubbles are forming. There we go. Let's zoom in a little bit. See the bubbles forming on the surface of the lever cap? We're nickel plating. Pretty neat. And there it goes again. So we'll continue to do this until we get a nice durable surface because I want to polish it. I don't want just a thin surface, I want something that's really nice, and so we'll plate this here for a little while. But this is the process. DC current positive here on the cathode. The nickel is then moving across the electrolyte and getting deposited onto the lever cap, and the bubbles released are hydrogen gas again, showing the effectiveness. The entire body is actually getting electroplated, but because we're facing the top edge or the surface of the lever cap toward the cathode, it'll get preferentially treated, which is what we want because that's the surface that we really want to polish up. Okay, we've been nickel plating here for quite a while. We'll pull this out. Take off our wire. You can see the copper wire's been nickel plated. We'll let this dry, we'll rinse it off with water, and then we'll bring it over to the buffer and really tune it up. And then after that, we're going to paint the background in that Stanley orange and finish the job. Okay, so this is the lever cap that has come off of the out of the electroplate. You can see there's a little excess. You can see it on my fingers here. The glittery stuff. So we've got a nice buffing situation here. Charge up our wheel. Let's give this a nice buff. Wow, it really shines beautifully. Okay, we're done with buffing it. You can see it's got a fantastic luster, beautiful shine. In comparison to the nickel plating on the back was still a little bit dull, but intact. This buffed up pretty nicely, very smooth and even. Now we'll put that beautiful Stanley orange in the background here to make this lever cap complete. Okay, let's clean that up with some acetone to be sure there's no wax or any of that buffing compound. A little bit more. You can see the little remnants of the orange that have come out now that we've cleaned everything up. Now we're going to paint that once I get it perfectly clean. So we've got this brilliant orange color that we're just going to try to very delicately put in here. Kind of to get any overlap, which we'll clean up, of course. We'll just paint this. So we've painted that a little bit over. We'll let that dry and we'll just buff a little bit of excess off of there. Okay, the Stanley lever cap is done. You can see how nice that turned out, that nice orange, carefully cleaned up, really nice shiny lever cap with a really beautiful luster. This is the restoration of the lever cap, also part of the number 5 hand plane find, disassembly, and restoration. This is the Stanley lever cap after it's been restored. You can see the fine orange paint, and we've cleaned up the letters really nicely, and the beautiful luster and shine from the nickel plating. This lever cap is absolutely as good as or better than original, still with the original plating on the back and on the sides. And again, this completes the Stanley lever cap restoration. Thank you again for watching. This is Dr. Joe with Mountain Journey. Please subscribe, please like, please comment. Stay safe.